in the state of New Jersey. Notice this meeting will be sent to the Star Ledger, local source, Home News, Tribune, and the Borough Clerk, school offices, and the district website. Roll call, please.
President Signorello.
Here.
Vice President Lange.
Here.
Ms. Carlstrom. Ms. Falcon. Absent. Mr. Fernandez.
Here.
Mr. Harms.
Here.
Mr. Hemingway.
Here.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Here.
Mr. Miller. We have quorum.
Flag salute, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let it be resolved that the Rosa Park Board of Education meeting hereby convenes to executive session for discussion of the following subjects. Personnel matters. It is anticipated the executive session will take approximately 60 minutes. The board may take action during this public session. The board shall return to public session following the executive session at approximately 7 p.m. The minutes of the executive session will be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Motion, please. Second? All in favor? Good evening. We'll be going to our public participation. Agenda items only. Each member of the public may speak at a maximum of 3 minutes and adhere to the following. Have a full name written on their profile. Raise their hand, an icon on Zoom. Wait to be called by the board secretary. And once called, please put video on and unmute your audio.
There are no hands.
Okay, we'll go to committee reports. Anybody have any committee reports? So I'd just like to thank Mr. Fernandez for helping out 2 days we had like every day we're learning here and we're doing something new in this district, helping out with handing the computers in front of the high school. I apologize, Friday before, I won't say Memorial Day, Labor Day, and then Labor Day, Monday or Tuesday, Mr. So thank you so much. Appreciate your help, Mr. Fernandez. And again, appreciate the district. It's something new and we strive every day to make it better. And I also, I will go, we have a donation at the end of the meeting I'll talk about later. So anybody else on any more committee reports? Nothing? So we'll go into the superintendent's report. Mr. Garrido, give your report, please.
Yes, thank you, President Signorella. Good evening, everyone. I also want to thank Mr. Fernandez for his help as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters. We continue to find new things and try to make them better. So I want to start by thanking all of the parents out there. Their lives continue to be a challenge every day as a partner in our education. But hang in there. We thank you for your patience. We know there's some frustration. We know that you want to make sure that our students are getting the best education possible, and that is always the goal of this district. We opened up on Tuesday, but prior to that, I just want to comment and apologize for the district. I know that there were some glitches, some rocky times in terms of the distribution of the loaners' laptops right before Labor Day. Again, I do want to apologize for that first day. However, as Mr. Signorella said, Mr. Fernandez, along with our administration, they really worked hard during the Labor Day weekend, and others of part of the staff that worked very hard to make sure that it went smoothly after that, and it did. We gave out, I think, over 500 loaners, if not more. So it was a big task, but we wanted to make sure that every student received a laptop that they needed for the remote learning. Tuesday was the first day. As I made a comment at the last meeting, the administration and the staff worked extremely hard to raise the bar for our remote learning. We added rigor. We wanted to make sure that we were prepared, and that is happening. I know there's some frustration whether virtual instruction is too long, and some of our students are very tired at the end of the day, or possibly in the early grades where there's too much pre-recording, and some parents want a little bit more Zoom. There's a balance. There's a balance in everything, and we want to make sure that our students are receiving the best remote learning. It's not ever going to be perfect, and I think we all learned that very quickly. But I can tell you one thing, that the instruction has improved and things are going in the right direction. And we've been in session now. This is the 6th day of school, and I did announce at the last meeting that my goal was to start day 1 planning for full reentry. And that's exactly what's being done. That's the work that we're spending most of our time doing right now. I met with staff, teaching staff, with administrators over the past 2 days, and we have a target date to tentative, but it's a pretty hard date that we wanted to set to return our self-contained, which they are the most vulnerable population of students that we have, on October 1. And that we're working on the plan. We're going to be calling every parent of those students to make sure we let them know that we're working very hard to ensure the safety of all the students and the staff. It's working very hard. They do understand that those students do need to return. So October 1, we're setting as a target date for those students, and we're very excited about that, to start opening our buildings to our students. Speaking on that, we also have a plan that we would like to begin phasing in our younger students, a pre-K through 2nd, or pre-K through in early October, mid-October, possibly October 15 as a target day. Again, these are tentative because anything can come up in these unknown times. Things can change day to day, and we know that. We learned that very early in March, that things can change. So hopefully to have everyone back in the building by November 1 in a hybrid type of model. And that will be our phase 2. We already met our phase 1, and we're meeting our phase 1 now. Our teachers, staff is working from the classrooms, is working from their teaching domain, and again, doing a great job working from the classrooms. So we are very excited that we have a plan in place to return our students. Equally excited as that, the board and the superintendent has written or created 3 goals for the year. One is obvious, is our reopening efforts to make sure that we fully develop a plan to safely reopen schools for the students, staff, and the community. With health and safety, of course, as being as the number 1 priority. But make sure also that we continue to communicate with the parents, with the community, on every step of the way. So we're going to be using obviously our website, our social media means, Twitter, Facebook, and email blast to make sure that our community is well aware of what's going on. We're also going to report regularly on both the academic as well as the social emotional growth of our students. We know that, 6 months has passed since the pandemic started, and we want to address some of the academic gaps or possibly regression that has happened. So we want to report on that to the public as regular as possible. Goal number 2 is student achievement. We can't forget that we are here and our educators are here to make sure that our students are provided with the best instruction and they achieve academically as well as social and emotional. So we're going to put a plan in place that will work to continue with the implementation of the curriculum developed prior to the pandemic, including Project Lead the Way, which is a cutting edge project, as well as the mathematic realignment at the middle school that we started prior to the COVID-19 closures. So that will be another. We're going to create assessments, and parents, you will be receiving information about assessment from Mr. Salvo, the Director of Instruction and Curriculum, within the next few days on the dates on the assessment. So we want to make sure that our students are properly assessed. And goal number 3, as we are so much aware of with all the social unrest going on around the country, that we need a goal that would address and will develop a plan that will address the implicit bias and inequity that can exist in our district or does exist in our district. So we want to include the input of our students, our staff, our parents, and our community members. And we'll do that by creating a plan that articulates all of that, a vision of inclusion. And that is critical here in our school district. We will make sure that we have a completed equity plan that addresses any bias that exists here in the district, and we'll report the findings. We want to be transparent. We want to make sure that we address any issues that we have and that we work together to correct it. So we will have a collection of evidence that support data in all areas of our evaluations. So those are 3 goals for the year. They will be posted. The board will vote on it at the next board meeting, and we will post them, and we will work and report to the community, to the board on its progress. So these are the goals that we have in place. That is my report for tonight. Again, my office is open. My email is always available. If any parents or any community members has any concerns, please don't hesitate to send me an email. If I cannot answer any questions, I can certainly direct you to the right person that we can work together on answering any questions that you have or any concerns that you have. And once again, I want to thank all of the parents, the entire staff, and of course our students for all the support and patience that they have been exhibiting all the way since March. And we'll continue. But again, our mission continues to be to return all of our students and staff as safely as we possibly can. And that is our goal and will always be our goal. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. Now we'll go into policy. District policies adoption. Like a motion? Second? Roll call, please.
Vice President Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Harms.
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And President Signorello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll go to personnel. Mr. Fernandez, are you on?
Let me get Chris.
Mr. Fernandez lost the signal. Personnel will go into staff resignation, change of assignment and transfer. I have addendum, 3 employment contracts and lunch days. 4 technology support and virtual instruction. 5 professional and virtual staff. We have a summer camp director, and we have an addendum, and I confused myself. A leave of absence, rescission of leave of absence for district substitutes. 5 additional high school athletic proctors, 2020 to 2021. 6 high school extracurriculum activities. I apologize for confusing everybody tonight, but I think we covered everything on the personnel. I'd like to get a motion to approve that.
I just want to add a revision to addenda number 6. For the record, it shall read to approve to pay John Rainieri, 2020 Summer Camp Director, $6,000 for planning work completed during the 1920 school year and ending on June 16, 2020. $1,500 has been paid by the board with a balance due of $4,500.
Have a motion.
Make a motion?
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Langang.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon.
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Harms. Mr. Harms?
Yeah.
Oh. Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. And President Signorello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And we'll move on to education. Number 8, education programs. Have a motion on the floor, please. Have a second? Roll call, please.
Vice President Langang.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon. Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Harms.
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. And President Signorello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excuse me. Now we'll move on to business. Agenda items 9 through 15. Addendum on item number 7. Uh, 9 monthly certification. 10 approval bills. 11 is approval of minutes. 12 secretary treasury reports. 13 use of buildings and ground. 14 staff cancellation. 15 athletic complex for spectators. And the addendum item is a donation. I'd like to make a quick comment. We have a resident in town.
You have to have a motion first, Joe, before we discuss. Have a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harms. Make a motion, to
I'll
accept.
move it.
Second.
Second.
So we have a local resident that has a contractor help wants to lamp up. I believe a couple of lamps or bulbs are out on the tennis courts. So between two companies, they will be donating, changing all the bulbs, and they will do the labor cost free, and they're going through the process, working with the district to make sure everything's okay. And I'm not sure exactly, but I want to thank them very much for doing this.
Very nice.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Langang.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon. Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Harms.
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. And President Signorello.
Yes. We have any continuing business? Any continuing business? We have a new business.
Yes, Mr. President, if I may.
Yes,
On our agenda tonight, it's noted that the next meeting is not scheduled until October 20th, which is 5 weeks from now. We approved the schedule at the beginning of the year, and it seemed like a good idea at the time to streamline operations. But that was then, this is now, and it really feels like we need to have more frequent meetings for us in the room to see each other and to also interface with the public. So I would like to move that our next meeting be on October 6th.
I'll second that.
have a roll call, please.
Vice President Langang.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon. Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And President Signorello.
Yes. You got Mr. Harms, I think.
I didn't say you?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I
No.
thought I did. Sorry.
No.
Mr. Harms.
No. Yes.
He likes to go, oh, okay,
No.
okay, thank you. Now, any other new business? Yes.
I just wanted to, just again, address the parents who waited on Friday.
Yep, you made it.
I just wanted to address the parents who waited on Friday patiently. You know, Tuesday was much more smoother for the computer pickup, but the staff really did a tremendous job of getting organized. And you know, rough week, but it was what it was. I just want to say to the parents out there, you know, thank you for your patience and bearing with all of us.
Mr. Fernandez, thank you so much again for helping out. Just a little brief thank you to all the school district employees. Mr. Garrido down, thank you for your hard work the last couple of weeks. We'll get through it. Public, be patient. Please, besides every meeting, Mr. Garrido has a phone. He has an email address. We have board members. We have this meeting. Speak up, say something, call, email. Thank you. So now we'll go into the public participation. Each member of the public may speak a maximum of 3 minutes, and here to the following. Have full name and written on their profile. Raise their hand icon on Zoom. Wait to be called by the board secretary. Once called, please put video on and unmute your audio.
Jenny Lechtenwalner, please state your name and address for the record.
Jenny Lichtenwalner, 163 Berwyn Street. I had 2 questions. I spoke to Mrs. Lechner earlier today, Mr. Garrido, about the possibility of a longer live session for the younger students, but I just wanted to make sure, coming from the board and coming from you, that was going to be a possibility. You know, I have my act together, but I can't be coming home from work every day and doing, 2 or 3 hours of busy work with my 5-year-old. It's overwhelming. I can't imagine how overwhelming it is for other parents as well. So just want to know if continuity between all 3 schools was so essential as to the detriment of, of some students and some parents.
Yes, thank you. I did speak to this. I think I am muted.
So, Mr. Guido, why don't you let her ask the second
Yeah, go ahead.
question? We had 2
Yeah.
questions, right? You
Yeah,
had
And the
two
second
questions.
question
Yeah,
is,
please.
what is the status of an instrumental music director for the elementary schools?
Okay, well, first of all, I did speak to Ms. Lechner today. I'm going to be speaking to both the other 2 elementary principals. We are obviously listening to the input from parents because you're the ones that are there with your children. And we will work on making sure that we adjust anything that may need to be adjusted. So if the pre-recording is too much, we may go a little bit more to Zoom or vice versa. There's that equity issue. There's another side. There's always 2 sides to the coin.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and there's another side that, obviously they lean more pre-recording, but we will balance it out and we will do what's best for the students as the administration always does. So, but thank you. Thank you for the question. We are taking that into consideration. Certainly. In terms of the music teacher, as a matter of fact, tomorrow I have a meeting with the candidate, so they should be on the next board agenda for approval.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Mr. Garrido, can I say something real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I'd like you to, the reopening plan. I think that when you presented it, there were a lot of people having a hard time because it didn't seem like there were a lot of people online at the time, certainly not as many as there are now. Could you quickly just, the abbreviated version of what we're planning in terms of the reopening plan?
In terms of the dates?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Our plan was pretty much open to reassessment and reevaluation of the conditions, obviously, for the health and safety of the students. So, we didn't have any set date, but as we look at the remote instruction, as we look at other districts and how they're doing and learning from other districts, we have decided that we will bring in our most vulnerable students, our self-contained special education students who are having a very difficult time with the remote learning on October 1. So that will be the next phase in, will be October 1 for those students. We have a tentative day of October 15 for the pre-K through 2nd. It could turn out to be pre-K through 3rd with November 1 for the entire, the rest of the school population. So we decided that phasing in will be easier, will be better, and we'll make sure that we have everything, because we want to be successful. We don't want to, go back a week after reopening and know that there are some issues. So we will do it in phases, and by November 1, again, these are tentative days because, as we all know, things have changed from one week, one day to another. So there will be a letter going out with that information to parents, just as I've been sending during the spring, during the summer, with that guideline. Of course, I would need to also send this information to the County Office of Education to make sure that is approved, our tentative dates, and with the plan that we already have in place. But that plan continues to be the plan. We will have a phase 2 of our students October 1, phase 3 October 15, with the final phase for November 1. And then after that, we'll reevaluate to see if we can come back to our regular schedule. And that could be January 1, could be December 1, depending on the conditions and the data that we receive from the Department of Health. So that will be the dates. Anything else, Mr. Hemingway, that?
No, thank you. I wanted to, I didn't see a lot of people on at the time that you were giving it.
No, perfect. But then there will be, there will be communication going home with this revised plan, which could lead to another revised plan, but at least we have a plan in place.
I'm going to ask Jay Garcia to please give me their full name and address for the record.
Jacqueline Garcia, 600 Laurel Ave, Roselle Park. I just wanted to first say thank you to all of the board members and the teachers for doing what they're doing during this very difficult time. My question is related to the self-contained classes, as I know that those are the students that are being considered to return back to school. Currently, you know, despite the small technology issues, I feel that my daughter is doing well virtually. She has the option to have direct contact with her peers. And my concern with them returning is that, you know, some children will be returning to school and others will stay virtual, and kind of the similar setting where we're looking at each other here. It's very difficult to hear you with the mask. I can't imagine my daughter trying to listen into her peer asking the question, you know, somewhere within her classroom. So my question is, you know, what steps are going to be put in place to make sure that the children who do decide, or the families that do decide to stay virtual, you know, that the children also have that social interaction? Because I feel that, you know, if there are some children that are in school, they may not necessarily be in front of a computer here, you know, where my daughter will be able to ask them questions or have that interaction like she does now. And my second question is related to related services, really. I understand that the district does share sometimes speech therapists and OT, and sometimes the specialists do travel from building to building. So my concern is that if I do decide to bring my child back, you know, into the school setting, that transition from personnel traveling back and forth it's more exposure versus just making sure that, you know, she's working with the folks that are directly in the facility and they're basically been already screened. You know, what measures are going to be implemented to make sure that the folks that are going back and forth from building to building, like the occupational therapists that we share, that they are being screened, and that our child has an option to perhaps maybe have that service remote.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Garcia. Certainly that second part of the question, we can, you know, if you give me a call or if you call Ms. Marmello, we can certainly speak a little bit about that in more detail. But in terms of the staff being screened, it's all in the reopening plan. That's all in there. Every staff member, every student is going to be required for, you know, to have temperature checks as well as questionnaire that they need to complete in terms of symptoms and things such as that. But, you know, we are working on a plan for related service if you opt, you know, to have your daughter remotely to have those services as well. So certainly we will have that. In terms of the returning our self-contained students or opting out to be remote, you know, one of the things that the board recognized immediately was some of the technology issues that we have to make sure that we meet all of our instruction the best we could. So at the first September meeting, which was 2 weeks ago, the board approved to have an upgrade in the capability with the fiber optics around our school buildings. That will give us the capability to live stream. It may not be ready for October 1, but it's going to be ready shortly after that. So that's something that students that are home or students in here can certainly have that same instruction and that same amount of contact time with the teacher. So I think that will make things much better for both. Those that opt out or not. You know, one of the things that we're working and the reason why we're doing this in phases and doing it very cautiously is to make sure that we can provide the safest and healthiest environment that we possibly can. And, we're going to outline all of that for you once, where we have everything in place. But, in terms of that, the quality of instruction and that contact, that they're having right now, we're hoping that once we are able, we have the capability to live stream, that we can, definitely improve that or enhance that experience.
There are no other hands.
I'd just like to wish my dad a 83rd birthday tonight. Anything else for agenda tonight? He's probably listening or watching. Anything else? Make a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
See you
October 6th.
All in
6th.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.